Are you tired of staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.? Wondering why sleep just doesn't come as easily as it used to? Believe me, I get it. As we get a little older, it feels like a good night's sleep is becoming this luxury item, like something we remember from way back when, but can't quite grasp anymore. And you know what? It can be incredibly frustrating. You try everything: warm milk, counting sheep, maybe even a little bit of that relaxing music. But sometimes nothing seems to work. And if you're anything like me, you've probably started to wonder, is this just part of getting older? Is poor sleep just something we have to accept? Well, I decided to dive deep into this whole sleep thing, especially for us folks over 50. And what I discovered is actually really eye-opening. It turns out that sleep problems are incredibly common as we age. I was reading some reports, and honestly, the numbers are kind of staggering. Apparently, something like 40% to 50% of adults over 50 experience some kind of sleep disturbance regularly. That's almost half of us. And it's not just about feeling tired the next day. Poor sleep can really mess with everything. Think about it. Your energy levels plummet. Your mood takes a nosedive. And it can even affect your memory and focus. And the thing is, there are actually different kinds of sleep problems out there. You've got insomnia, where you just can't fall asleep or stay asleep. Then there's sleep apnea, which is more about interrupted breathing during sleep. And restless leg syndrome, that's a whole other story. We won't get into all the nitty-gritty details today. But the point is, it's complex. And it's important to understand that it's not just normal aging. It's something we can often address. Now, sometimes, when sleep becomes a real struggle, we might turn to a little help from sleep medications. And that's perfectly understandable. But here's where things get really interesting, and where my research took a fascinating turn, because I discovered something that many of us might be completely unaware of. And it has to do with, well, something a lot of us love: our morning cup of coffee. Or maybe even that afternoon pick-me-up. Yes, that's right. Today, we're talking about coffee and sleep medications, and how these two can actually be working against each other, potentially leading to those very sleepless nights we're trying to avoid. Now think about it. What is coffee really? It's a stimulant. It's packed with caffeine. And caffeine is designed to wake you up, to boost your alertness, to keep you going. And sleep medications, on the other hand, are designed to do the opposite. They're meant to calm your mind, relax your body, and help you drift off into peaceful slumber. So, you can already see, right? There's a bit of a conflict of interest here. After spending hours reading studies, and I mean hours, from places like the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and even Harvard Medical School, I was honestly shocked by what I found. Apparently, a groundbreaking study from Johns Hopkins revealed that caffeine can significantly reduce the effectiveness of many common sleep medications. Think about it. You take your sleep aid, hoping for a restful night. But if you've had coffee too late in the day, that caffeine is still swirling around in your system, basically counteracting what your medication is trying to do. It's like trying to push the gas pedal and the brake at the same time. You're just not going to get very far. Or in this case, very much sleep. And it's not just about drinking coffee with your sleep medication, which, by the way, you should absolutely never do. It's also about timing. Through my research, I learned that you should absolutely avoid drinking coffee or any caffeinated drinks, for that matter, for several hours. And I mean at least 6 to 8 hours, sometimes even longer, depending on how sensitive you are to caffeine, before you take your sleep medication. Why? Because caffeine has a pretty long half-life. That means even hours after you drink that cup of coffee, half of the caffeine is still active in your body. So, that afternoon latte you enjoyed at 3 p.m., it could still be interfering with your sleep medication at 10 or 11 p.m. Now, when we talk about worst food combinations, it's really about understanding what to avoid, drinking and eating in relation to your sleep medication, and your sleep in general. Obviously, the biggest culprit here is coffee itself. especially in the afternoon and evening. But it's not just coffee. Remember, caffeine is hiding in lots of places. Think about tea, especially black tea and green tea. Many sodas and energy drinks are loaded with caffeine. Even chocolate, especially dark chocolate, contains caffeine. And I discovered you must never combine these caffeinated drinks or foods close to your medication time if you want to avoid sabotaging your sleep. It's like throwing a wrench into the gears of your sleep-promoting machine. What about best food combinations then? Well, in this case, it's less about combining specific foods with your sleep medication, and more about creating a lifestyle and evening routine that supports good sleep and doesn't interfere with your medication. What I found incredibly helpful is to strategically time my caffeine intake. For me, that means enjoying my coffee in the morning, maybe 1 cup, and then switching to decaf or herbal tea for the rest of the day. Staying hydrated with water throughout the afternoon and evening is also key. And instead of reaching for a sugary snack or caffeinated beverage in the late afternoon, try something calming, like a small handful of almonds or a banana. These are much better choices. That won't mess with your sleep or your medication. Think of it as fueling your body for relaxation, not stimulation. Now, let's talk about creating the perfect sleep environment. Because this is huge. It's all about setting the stage for a good night's rest. For me, and what I've learned is super important, is making sure my bedroom is like a sleep sanctuary. Think dark, quiet, and cool. Keep the temperature comfortably cool, around 65 to 68 degrees. Fahrenheit is often recommended. Make sure your room is as dark as possible. Blackout curtains can be a game changer. And try to minimize noise. Earplugs or a white noise machine can help. Comfortable bedding is also essential. A good mattress, pillows, and sheets can make a world of difference. And establish a relaxing bedtime routine. Wind down for an hour or so before bed. Take a warm bath. Read a book, a real book. Not on a screen. Listen to calming music. And speaking of screens, try to ditch the screens. Phones, tablets, TVs at least an hour before bed. The blue light they emit can really interfere with your sleep cycle. Getting some sunlight during the day is also important. It helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. And regular exercise is fantastic now. But try to avoid intense workouts too close to bedtime. Aim for exercise earlier in the day. These little changes to your sleep environment and lifestyle can really amplify the positive effects of your sleep medication, or even help you rely on it less over time. Now, before we wrap up, it's really important to talk about precautions. Please remember that I'm just sharing my research and what I've learned. I am not a medical professional. So, the most crucial thing is to always talk to your doctor or pharmacist before making any changes to your sleep medication or your caffeine intake, especially if you have any other health conditions. They can give you personalized advice based on your specific situation and your medications. Also, be aware that everyone reacts to caffeine and sleep medications differently. What works for one person might not work for another. Pay attention to your own body and how it responds. And never, ever exceed the recommended dose of your sleep medication. And never mix it directly with coffee or other stimulants. These are really important things to keep in mind for your safety and well-being. So, there you have it. My deep dive into the world of coffee and sleep medications. It's all about being mindful of what we're putting into our bodies and how it can impact our sleep, especially as we get older. I really hope this information has been helpful for you. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more in-depth explorations into health and wellness for us folks over 50. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. And share this video with anyone you know who might be struggling with sleep. It could really make a difference. And now, I'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to getting a good night's sleep? Let me know in the comments below. And maybe, just maybe, by making a few simple adjustments to our coffee habits and evening routines, we can all start enjoying those restful, rejuvenating nights of sleep we deserve. Sweet dreams, everyone.